Welcome gamers, weebs, and nerds alike. JRPGs have become almost a staple in gaming today, with some of them garnering both critic and fan appraisal alike, with games like Persona, Dragon Quest, and Final Fantasy. Each of these games has some feature that really makes the game amazing and keeps you hooked in for their very long playtimes. So in today's video, we go over 10 of the best unique mechanics in JRPGs. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more key content, and without further ado, let's get into the list. Kicking off this list, we have Clair Obscur Expedition 33's timing-based combat. Now yes, this is technically not a JRPG, but it's so heavily influenced and similar to it, it may as well be, albeit honorarily. Well, the story in this game is phenomenal, and the soundtrack is one of the best we've heard in a while. Where the game really shines is the gameplay, which manages to be both a celebration of older turn-based games and an improvement, adding in the real-time timing system. What makes this combat stand out even more compared to its counterparts is the unique abilities each character has to really differentiate the combat and keep it feeling fresh and fun. With Verso's perfection system encouraging dodging, but rewarding those who decide to try and parry the ridiculously timed attacks, to Ciel's moon and sun buildups which allow for insane payoffs, to the beloved Monako who has his bestial wheel that amplifies and gives boosts if you use an attack that matches the affinity. Pairing this up with the unique timing and planning around each turn, and this unique combat system makes for one of the most fun experiences in recent gaming. Now we have the job system in Metaphor ReFantasio. Now Metaphor isn't the first game to do this, but I think it manages to do this the best and excel at letting the player create the build that they want. And I always love an excuse to talk about Metaphor. There are a multitude of different classes that specialize in different types of combats, whether it's physical, healing, buffs, elemental, ranged. There's a job type for pretty much anything, and as you find the types you like by mastering different pairs or even trios of jobs, you can unlock new jobs that are almost like a best hits album of the jobs it took to learn it. The best part is the more levels you get in each job at certain intervals, you unlock a skill or ability from that job that you can use with any other job in the game. There are improved versions of each job as well, which just keeps adding more and more onto the diversity of each character and really makes this one of the best in JRPGs when it comes to creating the build that the player wants. Now you can't talk about JRPGs without mentioning Persona 5 Royal and its social links. I thought about using Metaphor for this, but I really think Persona 5 Royal nails this on the head and has the best iteration and use of this really fun mechanic. There are 23 confidants in Persona 5 Royal, and each one gives you boosts, buffs, or unlocks new gameplay mechanics the further you expand your relationship with them, such as Yuki Mishima, who you're first introduced to at the beginning of the game as one of Kamoshida's victims. He ends up becoming the Fan of Theme's #1 fan, and you unlock the ability to take on Mementos requests if you further your relationship. Or your homeroom teacher Kawakami, which ends up letting you craft items or read during class, or even explore Japan at night after you've explored the metaverse. And on top of that, maxing out each confidant allows you to unlock an extremely powerful persona as well. Almost all of these are very well written, voice acted, and have a good balance of gameplay to them to make them worth doing on top of the bonuses, and no Persona game or other JRPG has really managed to do it just as well as Persona 5 Royal has. Now we have the break and boost system in Octopath Traveler 2. Octopath 1 did it first, but Octopath 2 managed to refine it and make it a really fun and useful tool in the many combat encounters you'll get into. Each enemy has a shield with a certain number of HP, and each enemy has a number of different weaknesses that when exploited will tick that shield down to 0, and once broken you have a free turn to deal extra damage as it's increased for 2 turns on break. What helps accomplish breaking an enemy is the boost system, which each character can accumulate BP each turn up to 5 and use it to increase the amount of hits, the damage of the hits, or increase the potency of buffs and debuffs. The way this game has you balance your use of BP to defeat enemies and bosses is well thought out and makes it extremely fun and exciting. Now we have the exploration in Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. While 8 has the better story and town mechanic, and 10 has a great exploration of the sea, the best Ys has to offer definitely comes from Monstrum Nox. As you are stuck in this town trying to figure out the mysteries of the monstrum, you meet new party members who share the same fate as you, and each one offers a new way to explore the city, which significantly opens it up and allows you to explore every nook and cranny, both down low and extremely high up. The whole city slowly becomes your jungle gym. You start off by only being able to zip line from different points, but eventually you unlock a glide, wall running, even the ability to go into a shadow and go underneath some stuff. The game really rewards you for exploring as well, with treasures hidden everywhere. The city and surrounding area were designed extremely well to take advantage of each new power you get to make each one feel useful and fun to use. This is without a doubt one of the best exploration mechanics we've seen in a JRPG, and it is kinda sad it was a little bit lost in the later entry. Next up, we have the crafting system in the Atelier series. Instead of upsetting the entire Atelier fanbase by choosing one particular game, we're just going to have to go with the franchise as a whole, since for the most part, they all are similar enough and share enough aspects to be counted as a singular entry. The crafting system is at its core what makes the Atelier games what they are. You play as an alchemist and use your skills to craft items, weapons, accessories, pretty much everything to help those in need and progress the story. You find, mine, or gather items from throughout the world and come back to your atelier to make these items. Each material is given a grade, and the higher the grade, the more effective it'll be, or better buffs it'll give, etc. But don't worry, the 1000 grade E sticks you have are still useful, as most of the game give you an option to combine them into better items or other materia to improve quality of items even more, making everything you collect at least somewhat valuable. There's actually a bit of strategy involved in the crafting too, as you decide which items to use and where to put them, which ends up having you spend hours crafting before you know it. Next up, we have Valkyria Chronicles 4's turn-based tactical combat. This is probably one of the most unique and immersive combat systems when it comes to tactical RPGs. You start off on a map and you deploy a certain amount of different characters, each with a movement speed, with the end goal of either capturing the final base or defeating the boss of that map. What makes this so interesting is the blend of real-time combat with tactical and turn-based elements. You control your characters in real time as they move closer to enemies. The enemies, as you get closer to them, shoot back as long as they can see them. This will happen until you take cover or end your turn. Being able to physically move around the environment to position your sniper where you need to, aim and take the shot before ending your turn and going back to the map is extremely fun and adds the charm of this highly underrated game. So if you like tactical RPGs and want something fresh, this is a great franchise to go ahead and pick up. Now we have the mechs in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now if you've played other Xenoblade games, you know the struggle of exploration. They give you these giant, sprawling maps to explore with goodies and enemies everywhere, making you want to explore it all. However, you have no vehicle, barely a sprint, and are basically stuck jogging or bunny hopping around everywhere. Except in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now it does take quite a while to actually unlock these things, and even when you do, it takes a little bit longer to really get the full use out of them, but gosh dang it, once they're unlocked, it is such an awesome feeling. Not only can you customize them and use them in combat, but you can zoom around the map at ridiculous speeds, and it doesn't feel like a chore to go from point A to point B or go over to a new area to start a quest, since the time it takes to get there is practically nothing. And you can finally get to and reach the high up areas and rocks, since you can fly in your mech too, making the whole map feel open and giving you the freedom to explore to your heart's content. Yes, Chronicles 3 has a boat near the end of the game, but it is nothing compared to a freaking mech. The design of these things is awesome, and the fact you can use them in combat as well as exploration just makes them that much cooler and one of the best mechanics in a JRPG. Next up, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses Branch Story. Not only is this considered the best Fire Emblem game, but it's also considered one of the best RPGs in modern memory, and that is due in large part to the branching storylines based on which house you decide to go with. The first half of the game will more or less play out relatively the same regardless of who you decide to side with, the Golden Deer, the Blue Lions, or the Black Eagles. However, once you cross that halfway threshold, everything changes, and the stories play out wildly different. Without spoiling too much, the stories are extremely well written, voiced, and give you a lot of new and exciting battles to partake in. Each one leads to a different ending, with the Black Eagles giving you 2 possible endings, which makes for a lot of replayability. Some games like Hogwarts Legacy do very little to differ between which house you go to, but Three Houses offers multiple different characters, romances, makes you come up with new strategies for combat, and completely different storylines, which makes this such a fun and enthralling game. Rounding out this list, we have the synergy skills and abilities in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is one of the nominees for 2024 Game of the Year, and if it won, I don't think anybody would really be all that mad. But one of the best mechanics in this game are those synergy skills and abilities. These are team-up attacks that involve two specific characters acting in tandem to do a multitude of different things, depending on which characters are doing them. The skills involve things like Cloud being a shield for Aerith, whereas the abilities are used by using ATB or MP abilities to gain synergy points and can lead to things like Aerith creating a giant field that teleports Tifa around, launching strikes before finishing with a final downward strike, or Yuffie creating a ninjutsu for Barret to shoot through, giving his bullets a fire affinity before he throws her forward to land an attack. These abilities can also give buffs for your group or debuffs for the enemy, and with each one being unique, it invites the player to really mix and match squads to find the one that really work for the situation at hand. That wraps up our list for some of the most unique mechanics in JRPGs. Of course, this is just our list, so let us know in the comments below what your favorite mechanics in JRPGs are. Check out our Twitch and TikTok for more geeky goodness. Leave a like and share if you enjoyed the video. Until the next video, keep on geeking on.